Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. And today we are doing another question in the Hackerrank series, which is to reverse a doubly linked list. So we have done linked list before, and a doubly linked list follows a very similar pattern with just a bit more steps involved. So if you haven't seen the linked list video, it should be the one right before this. I will see if I can add the link to the description. Anyways, what we see over here is that a linked list effectively is something that looks like this: 1, 2, 3. So a linked list or something like we have a header node, and then the header has a tail, and this is a header on its own, and it has a tail, and the last one doesn't have a item in its tail. The tail just points to a null value. But the thing is, in this scenario, which is a doubly linked list, doubly linked list, what we have is we have a next and we also have a previous. So something like this, but the last one doesn't have it. So from this stage, what they want us to convert this into is they want something like this: 1, 2, and a 3, and should point something like this: zoop, zoop, zoop. And this should have a none over here, and this should be next. Like this is a next. Well, this is a next, 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 previous, previous. Likewise over here, this is a next, next, previous, previous. So with all this being said, how do we ensure that we convert this into this? So as usual, we need to find a terminating condition, and we need to find a repeatable pattern. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is let's do it step by step. The most easiest and obvious thing to do, like when we are given a reverse doubly linked list, they only give us a header. So this is the header that we have. So from here, how do we convert this into this? So the first thing that we need to do is we need to point this to a none. So to point this to a none, I'm just going to use an arbitrary variable called nxt, and I'm going to assign this to none at first. And after that, I need to make this thing the next item. So let's ignore that first. I also need to save this thing as a temporary file, as like a temporary item. So I'm just going to call this temp. Maybe I should have more space at the bottom for me to write these things. Yep. Okay. So temp, I'm going to store 2, 3, and n. And after that, what I'm going to do is, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to save this first. I'm going to save this as temp, and then I'm going to take this value, which is header. I'll call this header. So I need to make sure headers next is equal to whatever next that I've given. So it should be an nxt. But before that, I need to make sure the temp is stored as this, and then I'm doing this. After that, I need to make sure that the following next is this whole thing. So I'm basically assigning this, and then I'm assigning this whole thing to be the new next. So the new next will be 1 and n, very similar to the linked list problem that we saw. After that, we have settled the headers next. Now let's settle the headers previous. So in this, initially, this was the next, and this is the previous. But what I need to do now is, this is the next, and this will be the previous. That means referring to the temp file would be the previous. So headers previous head.priv would be temp, whatever this temporary file was. And with that, oh wait, there's one more step, which is I need to make sure next now refers to whatever the head was, which is this item. And the temp file that I've stored now becomes the head. I need to do something like this. Head. Oh boy, it's so hard to write using this. Is temp. So I know this is a bit confusing, but I would need you guys to go in this format, like go here, then go here, like in this format, in this flow. And when we do that, we effectively have a repeating pattern, which is we have this, we find the next item and we refer to the previous one. We go to the next, we change, make this a hit, we find the next item, and then we find the previous, and we do the same thing over here. Find the next item, find its next, and try to refer to the previous, but the previous, if it is none, we terminate the program at that point. So with all this being said, I think we are ready to code it out. Yeah. So they have given us the hints, which is the int is data, the next is next, and the previous refers to the previous. So let's start coding. So as I mentioned just now, the first thing that we need to do is we need to come up with a variable called next and temp, and they need to refer to the different things. So let's do that. First thing is I need to come up with a next variable. So next is equal to none. After that, I'm going to set a I need to ensure that the value is not none. So if while head is true, that means while head is not a none, because after a while, my header will become none. And that is when I need to terminate the program. Like when I'm trying to set the new value to be like what I'm doing is I'm finding this and then I'm making making the next value into head, right? When the next value that I'm trying to make into head is actually a none, I need to terminate the program. So while at some point when the header becomes a none, I will identify it over here and I'll terminate the program and I'll exit the thing, because that's when I know that I've converted all of them as I'm traversing through the linked list, doubly linked list. So back to this, while head exists. So in the first case, it'll be this. So while head exists, I need to save the next one into a temporary variable, which is this thing. So temporary would be head.next, and head.next must actually become this value next. This has to refer to next. So nxt. Another thing that I need to do is this header's previous must refer to the temp file, like whatever the temp was at that point. So header.previous is equal to temp. And next up is, now that I've made this refer to the next item and the previous item, I'm ready to go to the next one. But before I do so, I need to make sure that this item, what other colors do I have? Pink. This item is now the new NXT. So I can just do that by doing this head. And the head must become, and the head must be this value now. Now this doubly linked list will be the header now. So head is equal to temp. With that being said, how do I know it ends? When the header is temp, at some point head.next will be none. So when head is equal to none, it will terminate the program, and I need to return the item that refers to the full thing, like the full linked, doubly linked list. So I cannot put header over here because header is none. That's why we terminated the program. But there's another item, another variable, which references the full list, which is this one. Next is equal to head. Because after the first item, like after the first run, this will be the next. After the second run, this will be next. And after the third round, this will be next. And this is the correct answer. So NXT should be the answer. So let's run the program now. And I will clear all my drawings. Yep. So it passes all the test cases. The reason why I use this format to explain it is because it's quite intuitive to see the changes. Like whatever we change, whatever we assign, whatever value we assign will be the one that is getting changed in the next stage. Like header next is the reference variable here, and then I'm changing it in the next step. Unlike the single linked list, it didn't have this step, but in this question, we have this step. So once we find the repeating sequence that we need to change, the question becomes much easier for us. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll submit this code. Yep, I pass all the test cases, and this code works. So any linked list question, any traversal in this linked list always boils down to a repeating sequence. And once we find the repeating sequence, we can put a while loop and find the terminating condition and just finish the achieve our objective. So yeah, that was reversing a doubly linked list. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.